Welcome everyone. Today we have a very exciting Path of Exile 0.3 Timeless Jewel Crafting Guide. Looking behind me, this is a timeless jewel I have listed for 80 divines, and I have just made 8 divines in the past half hour. And I want to show you guys this is a screenshot of my friend selling some pretty expensive timeless jewels after coming back from sleep. So in this video, I have prepared a detailed written guide to teach you guys step by step how to do this. Which of the stages can you make profits? For example, I was making 8 divines of profit in the very early stage, but if you keep going on and also learning the crafting process, which is super easy, takes less than 1 hour to do the whole thing, and it's insanely profitable. My friends are making 10, 20, 30, 50 divines non-stop. And you should look into this, and there's step-by-step written guide that will show you guys what is happening. And on top of that, I do have a video guide to show you guys how I was able to craft my 80 divine timeless jewel. So you might be wondering, so of course we'll go through the video guide in the final part to teach you guys the step-by-step process, filtering, buying the jewels, crafting them, and also what to do with them. So I have a full video guide to show you how I purchased those, how I crafted those, and how I checked those. So firstly, just before we dive into the video, you might be wondering, hey Matt, how do you know it's 80 divine? So over here, I want to show you guys is the timeless jewels we're crafting and working on is called the Undying Heat Timeless Jewel, and it's for the Tecrod. Tecrod is where the blood mage enjoys the sacrifice of blood. At the moment, this knot is the most expensive knot, the most expensive base, and it sells for about 7 to 10 divines. And look at this, 15, 20 divines, because people are just picking up on this, and I do believe my friends have shared with me one of the best methods. Well, this screenshot kind of proves how much he was making, and I tried it out a few times and I got successful on this 80 divine one. I'm about to try to sell, I'll lower to 60 maybe, but I'm happy to stay on 80, and I made 8 divines just using the basic method. Okay, enough said, let's dive into the process. I'm sure you guys are very excited to see how it works. So what I want to do is make sure you go to the links below to come over to the written guide, because this is super detailed. I will skim through the written guide so I can go on to the video guide. It is recommended, guys, to use the video guide and also written guide together, because you want to avoid mistakes. It can be very costly mistake. I even made mistake during this crafting video. So I want to show you guys there are mistakes you can avoid that could potentially turn a lot of profits into losses. So make sure you do follow it. Come over to the written guide, have a good read. I did write very detailed things, so let's dive into it. So since the latest release from the POE database, you can see we have a link over here. This will be available for you guys. The timeless jewel, the hate timeless jewel, the one we're looking at is called Undying Hate Timeless Jewel. This one is available for crafting, but we didn't know what is available. But the data was released about 12 hours ago, and my friends has been trying some incredible ones. So there are currently 5 different bases. The most expensive base we look at is going to be called the Tecrod base. So this is the Undying Heat. This is the jewel we want. It comes with 4 of 5 different bases. So let me come over to the jewel, and yes, all the links will be available for you guys. You can see that this is a base called the Kulmak. The tribute is the tribute. This is the tribute of Omen. This is the tribute of Cargo. And the most expensive base is called the tribute of Tecrod. Tecrod. You know what I mean. So there are 5 different bases, and most bases are selling for about 10, 20, 30, 40 chaos, or maybe 1 divine. But the Tecrod base sells for 7 to 10 divine. So right away you can see there's a profit margin that you can make. So we come over step by step. Now, if you do want to read into it, you can see what those timeless jewels can craft into what mod, and also what are the modifiers of the small modifiers and also big modifiers. There will be a detailed video to teach you guys more about this, but this video is to teach you how to make insane amount of profits and literally printing divines, guys. No joke. So first step, you want to farm or purchase those timeless jewel bases. Now, because there are 5 different bases and Tecrod is the most expensive one, if you find a Tecrod base, so here I have some examples. Those are the Omen bases, and here is a Tecrod base. If you find a Tecrod base, I recommend selling it, because right now the prices are pretty high. The selling used to be 7 to 10 divine. Now I don't even see anything below 10 divines. And those are not even the right ones. They're failed craftings. We're making 4 mods here. So you want to acquire those bases. You want to acquire bases that are not Tecrod. And you can see in this video, I was filtering, and this was yesterday when the data first came out. I was able to buy some for 10 divine, buy some for 20 divine, and buy some for 25 divine or 30 divine. And I was literally buying them to craft, and it was insanely profitable. So once you have acquired the cheaper bases, you then, you don't want to pay over one divine, keep in mind, because you don't want to be too costly, because those things can be broken. So you might lose the jewel as you're crafting. So right away, there's one option to make profit on step 1. And this is what I tried. So what you can see is, here are some of the jewel bases that is not Tecrod. And what my friends and I have been trying is, a very quick way of making profit is simply using divine on a no Tecrod base into a Tecrod base. We're assuming the weighting is about 1 out of 5. Why is that? If I come over here, you can see there are 5 base of weighting. So you want this one. And other ones are the ones called, Omen, Kako, and Kamak. There's a lot of different bases. So you want, you don't want the other 4, you want this one. This is the most expensive one. So the easiest optional step 1 profit making process, that's what I did in the past half hour, is basically getting those non-Tecrod bases and purchase them for about 20 to 30 chaos. I don't recommend going too high, about 20 to 30 chaos, and then what you can do is you can divine them into a Tecrod base. So yes, when you use a divine orb onto those, the FX here actually rolls, and it can roll into Tecrod. Now, the chances of that might not even be 1 out of 5. It might be 1 out of 7, keep in mind. We're not sure the weighting. And this can be very RNG. And it is fast profit only if the market is demanding on Tecrod base. At the moment, there isn't a lot. Oh, there is one. I'm going to try to buy this. The one divine, it's gone. No one's going to be able to purchase that. One divine is like a free giveaway. So yes, the market have a strong demand for Tecrod base. So if you just buy a cheaper base, you basically divine it with a 1 in 5 or 1 in 7 chance, there's a chance of getting Tecrod. But notice how the value is kind of similar. So here's one divine base, and you're kind of divining that into a Tecrod base. It might cost you like 5 divines. And in the end, you might make some profit, you might lose some. So the first optional method of crafting is very RNG. It is pretty much gambling. It is fast profit. Here you can see I made 8 divines just doing that. But it's not the biggest profit. And you can lose if you don't hit the right one. And as people learn about this first method, it might not be as profitable. So I do recommend you understanding the future method and then deciding which stage of the method you want to use. I'm quite excited. I want to slow down a little bit. So the first method is simple. You buy the cheap bases, you divine them into Tecrod base, and then you sell them for about 10 plus divines. And people do buy them. Now, what they don't know is the secret of the next few steps, which is what you print the big divines. Because you can't make this much, using this method, right? Second step. So once you have purchased a number of bases, like here I have 2 example bases, I purchased those of about 20 chaos, 30 chaos each. So once you have purchased those bases, you want to prepare something called the Preserve Cranium. This is a new crafting currency from this particular patch. So here is this item. The Preserve Cranium is something that allows you to desecrate a rare jewel, but you can actually desecrate a unique jewel. And this one is the one you can desecrate. I'll show you guys in the video very soon. Once you have prepared those, you want to prepare 4 of the Preserve Cranium per timeless jewel you're planning to desecrate. So, show you guys in the video. You can see here I'm going to desecrate them. And as I said, desecrate them, they will have the additional line. And this means they have added modifiers. But notice something. As I desecrate them, there's a chance of destroying the jewel, especially after the second desecration. The first 2, I think, is almost a guarantee. But on the third one, notice I'm desecrating them. On the third one, there's a chance of proofing. The item disappeared and is destroyed. So this is when the crafting gets a little more RNG and also exciting. So prepare 4 Preserve Cranium for each timeless jewel cheap base you have purchased. And you want to sell the expensive base as it is. You don't want to be proofing and destroying them, right? So there's a chance to break them after initial 2 modifiers. And then what you can see is on the third one, there's a small chance of breaking. On the fourth one, there is a massive chance of breaking it. So it's very hard to get to the 4th mod. So let me show you guys over here. This is the video recording example. You can see I have 3 or 4 made it to 3 FX of the 3 mod. But as I was adding the final desecration, notice that out of the 5 I had, only 1 survived the desecration of 4 mod. So this is a big step in making a perfect 4 mod timeless Jew. Now, over here, come back to the notes. So out of the 5 I used, the cheap bases, only 4 made it to 3 mod, and then only 1 made it to 4 mod. So the rate is actually quite low. And this also comes back to the fact is like, how are you selling this for 80 divine? So think about this. The timeless Jew over here with the Undying Hate, the basis about used to be 10 divine. So if you do 5 of those and they break, only 1 succeed into 4 mod, you're pretty much spending like 50 divine already, right? So the cost is actually quite high. This is why this is selling for so high. Now, coming back to our guide, so here there is another option. Once you have made a 4 mod Undying Hate, it is also profitable to not reveal it and then selling this as it is. So what I mean by that is, coming over to the video, there's a lot of profiting in each of the steps. It really depends on how much risk you want to take. So notice here I was managed to buy a very cheap base Jew, and I bought some very cheap, the preserved Cranium, which costs about 6 Exile at the moment, so they're very cheap in compared to the other materials. And you can see after 5 of them, only 1 survived. So now what I can do is I can actually go and list this one. Oh, where am I going? So I can actually go and list this 4 mod unrevealed Undying Hate, and this can list for like 10, 20 divines, and people will buy it up. It really depends on how many of those are on the market. Right now it's not many, so this is another profit making. So you're basically spending like maybe 4 or 5 divines and selling for 10, 20 divines here. Literally printing divines on the second stage. Now, why is that you might not want to reveal them is that people might take it for a specific build, and people might use it to divine rolling it. But if you don't want to invest too heavily in this crafting method, the second stage is actually a good stage to sell the unfinished crafting. This protects you from unluckiness, which you're going to see very soon. This also protects you from anything bad. So you're like a supplier midway, and you can make 5 to 10 divines just supplying the 4 modded timeless Jew. Again, my friends made a lot of divines doing the second method. Now, moving on to the third method. This is the biggest hidden method, and this is very rare, and I do want to say a thank you to my friend Royal NZ for sharing this one. This was a method coming from POE 1, and it works on POE 2. So what happened is, notice that we want the Tecrod knot. So all the other knots are not as expensive. And how do you go from the Comex or whatever mod you have into a Tecrod knot is that you can divine this. And once you divine it, I'll show you guys very soon in the video, you can then turn the cheap bases, the cheap 1 divine bases into the 15, 20 divine bases. And then with the 4 mod 20 divine bases, that's how it hits over 50 or 80 divine. So step 3. Now warning, you do want to prepare the omens called the Omens of Abyssal Echo. I don't have those here, but I want to show you guys what they are. Better show you, because this is very important. I made the mistake in not getting the right Omen on my first go. So this is the Omen. They're not selling for 1 Exile, this is a price fixing. So they're selling for about 13 chaos each. So be aware of this. This is when the investment becomes a bit heavy. So for each of the successful 4 mod timeless Jew, 4 mod, remember? Not wanted to do 3 mod. So for each of the successful 4 mod timeless Jew, ideally you want to prepare 4 of the Omens of the Abyssal Echo. And yes, I'll have the link for you guys. Once you have prepared those, you will then come over to the fountain. Where is it? Okay, it's here. So once you have prepared those, ideally, you can see what they do. Of course, you can check the prices and things. Let me just go at the fountain. Okay, here we are. So once you're at the fountain where you do the revealing, you are making sure the echoes the Omen is in your inventory and also activated. So here in my video, I actually picked the wrong Omen for my stash. This is the Omen of Light, and I had that, and Omen of Light is not what you wanted. You want Omen of Echo. So on the first revealing, I actually opened it. So notice that I don't have a choice to reroll. It's important to reroll, because you need to reroll into the right FX, right? So I made a mistake here, and later I realized I got the wrong Omen. So here I'll show you guys with the right Omen. What happened is, okay. With the right Omen, notice I'm using the Omen of Echo on this side, and this allows me to reroll a bad FX. You can only do this once per review, but this doubles your chance of hitting the jackpot. So there are two options at this stage. I want to explain this a little bit, and you can pick both options or any of those that you think good. So what I mean by that, the option for 3A. So the 3A option is when you start revealing the full mod like I do in the video before using Divine Orbs. This is much more preferable because you can then, depending on whatever the mods you pick, like the one of the 3 desecration mods you pick, you can then divine into the right base for the build. The second option, not recommended, but some people might like to do it. You start to divine it first. So you change that into the right base by using divines and also hitting the base you want. And most of the time it is Tecrod because that sells for so much gold or so much, divines. So you can divine into the right base first, then start revealing the mods. And why would people want to do the second part is that later on when you divine it, you also change the FX of the mod, and this can roll lower or higher. So notice here we have the 3 to 5% increased chaos damage. This is a lucky roll. Sometimes you don't want to roll all of that. So not really recommended for 3B, but 3A is the method I'm using. So once we have the full mod, we come over to reveal it. Make sure you have the Omen of Echoes in your stash. Oh, not stash, inventory. Activated. Very important. You literally see the mistake of me not having the Omen and not getting the rerolls. Likely the first few are good, because all stats are great, and you get the chaos damage which is needed for the Blood Mage. Now, it is recommended to understand a meta build. At the moment, I believe there's a few. I'm going to make video guys teach you guys about those meta builds. There's definitely the Deadeye from Gun and also variations. There's also the Blood Mage everywhere. It's so powerful. And I do plan to go into Blood Mage from the Infernalist in the future. I'll teach you guys how to do that. So once you understand a few meta build, you'll know what is the meta FX and also expensive FX they want. And then you come over to the options in rolling those as you reveal the mod like I do over here. So here I'm making a timeless drill for the Blood Mage. So I want chaos damage, I want maximum life, I want anything that recovers life would be great. So once you understand the meta and then you understand what is the most expensive mod, then you go to revealing with the 3A option, revealing 4 of them, it is much better. During the making of this drill, I had my friend who plays Blood Mage to teach me exactly what are the best mods as I'm selecting them. So don't reveal them if you don't know what you're doing. Just sell them as it is. You make like 5 or 10 or 20 divine. Now, I do plan to make a detailed probability Excel and also a tool for you guys because I have a good history of data, and also I used to make Excels for Diablo and also Path of Exile. So I do want to make Excels like those. This is a Diablo one. So I do plan to use the information we have to make a detailed Excel, give you the probability of you rolling to the right ones, give you the probability of you getting what you wanted with the modifiers, and finally what the probability of getting the other modifiers. I want to make a tool for you guys. So stay tuned on this. This is a bonus that's coming in the future. So make sure you subscribe on the video, on the channel for the update of those and also better guides for POE 2. So now, once you have revealed all of your mods, and here I'm using Omen of Echoes whenever needed, but if I don't need it, that's okay. So maximum life, 5% maximum life is actually quite huge for Blood Mage, because they want maximum life, huge damage boost. So once you have done that, you have all 4 of the mod ready, but the base is not right. So this is when you are going to come over to the base. Now during this time, it is also nice, notice how this one, even though it is a max roll, 2 out of 3 attribute, the second passive is actually a 3 out of 5 chaos damage. It is not a max roll. But what we can do is, you come over to step 4. We're going to re-rolling into the right base on the current base. So you'll be using Divine Orbs, which will also re-roll the mods you've selected. So everything here will be re-rolled. So the RFXs will be re-rolled, the chaos damage will be re-rolled, but the other ones won't change. You're changing the base, you're changing the values over there. And keep in mind, on estimations, it is around 1 in 5 chances of hitting the right mod. So what I mean by that is, you come over, see. So the other 4 are the wrong ones, right? You want the Tecrod one. But after testing and also showing you exactly what happens in the video, I tried it. It's not 1 in 5, it's like 1 in 8 for me. So I'm using divine. I used 8 divines to roll into it. This is just a shot to show you guys. So notice I've been rerolling, and this reroll is actually I used more than 8, I used 9 divines. So this one's not bad, but it's not the one I wanted, right? So you can see, I even go to search up the price of the other ones. It's not as good. So let me have a look. I've been divining it. I think I got it. I didn't edit correctly, but I used about 9 divines to divine into the right one. Let me show you guys over here. So 3 divines left. Again, I'm divining it. It's not there. Here, finally, the last divine I had made it. So notice the chaos became 5%. It is now a Tecrod base. So now I hit the jackpot. This is when you make a big box, because you did the whole process. You did the 4 mods, you revealed the right mod or the best mods you can find, and then you converted that into a Tecrod mod. So just to show you guys what this means, I'm actually going to take it out of the shop and put it on my character to show you why is it so popular. And yes, there will be one for the summoners too, but it's not as crazily popular. So it turns one of the other mods into a life regeneration mod, and this is great for the blood mage. It is crazy what they wanted, and it's very strong. And you can see the other mods are also getting affected as well. And this also affects the mods in the radius. So this means they can get chaos damage, they get all attributes. They also get 2 of the notable passive nodes, which will give them the damage reduction, recoup as life, and also maximum life. So this is why this particular Jew can sell for so much. But let's talk about what happened to the market. So that is the final step. Now, be careful. The estimation of the weighted, if they're equal weight, it's 1 in 5. But it seems to me the Tecrod base is much, much more rare. So it's much harder to get this one, hence everyone wants it. And this can be very costly. It cost me 8 to 9 divines to roll into this. But notice the steps you're following over here, it is the cheapest possible route. Imagine if I bought 10 or like 5 Tecrod base and I broke 4 of those and 1 managed to make it through. If you didn't do this method, you just bought the right base and start modding them with desecration, you'll break a lot of them and waste even more divines. So this is the cheapest method in making the most expensive timeless Jew with Tecrod base, the metal one. Now, before we finish the video, and yes, let me have a look. I do have a full video recording to show you exactly what I did. So firstly, I went down to the market, I bought a lot of the cheap bases for 10, 15, 20 divine, and you literally see me buying them. After that, I took all 5, I started to desecrate them, and you can see afterwards, only 1 survived. And then I went to reveal. The mistake was I took the Omen of Light instead of Omen of Echo for the first reveal, and then me and my friend quickly realized I messed up, so I bought 3 Omen of Echo, and that helped quite a bit. I didn't use all the omens. There will be a guide on teach you guys how to use the omens, when to reroll in the future. So let's look at into making the profits. So then after this is done, you can see me divining it. I think I added a little bit out because I actually used 8 divines. You didn't get to see it because I had to buy divines, use divines, failed, roll, buy divines. So it's a repetitive process, took like 5 minutes and the divine just disappearing. So in the end, it spent 8 to 9 divines to get to the Tecrod base, to hit the jackpot. And that is the crafting process. So what's going to happen after the release of this video? I have made other currency guides in the past, and one of the reasons I don't make as many currency guides is that those great method disappears and the profit disappears. But I believe this is a very good guide. So firstly, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the button and hit the notification for the latest news, currency making, and also builds for POE 2. And also I'll be making that too for you guys, because I need that for myself. Now, big thank you to Royal again for sharing this one, and I think this will help us to understand the game better, to make better guides, and if you do have any insights, tips, or amazing build you want to share with the community, you can always message me on Discord using the username. You can also join my Discord, then you can directly message me after you join the Discord, because otherwise we're not friends, you can't direct message me. So, one of the reasons we wanted to share this is so that the timeless jewels become more readily accessible to everyone. Imagine this jewel selling for like 80 divine. I'm actually going to lower to 70, because I think the price was going to fall after my video. So imagine this Jew selling for 80 or 70 divine. It is not that accessible to players, and players without knowing this method will be spending over 50 divines in making the right one. This method breaks it down to almost 20 divine investment. Still costs a bit. Now, finally, I think this will help the community, and making things accessible for most of the players and teaching you guys how to do it is the best way to help the game grow. Now, before I finish, I also want to mention what would happen after the release of this video. It's important for you to understand this. So the Undying Hate base. So at the moment, they're selling for 1 divine. The price already went up. I believe people are onto this. So it was selling for 20 chaos. So as people watch this one, the biggest price increase will be the cheap base will go up in price. They are already 1 divine. Now the second to that is the expensive Tecrod base might be falling down in price, but might not be. I thought this would fall down in price, but it's actually going up in price as well. People are going crazy. And so if you get the Tecrod base, it sells for a bit. And followed by that, because there is going to be more full modded Undying Hate on the market, making things more accessible to players, and Timeless Street price will be falling a little bit. Finally, the omens we're using, the Omen of Echo and the Preserved Cranium, those items might go up in price slightly because there will be higher demand because people want to try this method out, right? But not many people can try it because it's very expensive to enter the market right now. Even the cheaper bases are selling for 1 divine. I'll try to make a video to teach you guys how to farm those jewels. I believe you can get liches quite consistently if you know the method. So those are the market predictions, and this is just my personal opinion because I don't want to make a video and you say, hey, it's not profitable. So everything should be explained in this video, and the recording over here will be available after this part, so you get to see exactly how it's listed. Actually listed for 100 divine because that was the only one in the market, and that was the best one out there. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Again, come over to the written notes for the most detailed, and I'll be updating these written notes with future Excels similar to this one, and all the links will be available for you guys should you need additional information. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one and try this out, and let us know in the comments below if this helped you to make profits. But be careful guys, like all crafting, this is RNG, so be aware there's a risk of bad luck and also losing out. So everyone needs to know this, because I don't say this is 100% profit, but it is crazy profits. Just look at this. This is what my friend saw when he came back after a bit of... Now, hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. Again, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube, especially our supporters, and also those of you guys who's been supporting me on Patreon as well. And we do have a new feature on the Majestic YouTube channel. If you click onto this, you can become a member. Yes, I've added this just recently, and this will allow you to have early access to videos that is posted a few hours or even half a day earlier if you want to watch those videos a little early. But yes, this will cost money. So please be aware the membership will cost money. And if you do want to watch videos normally, those videos will still be available after 6 to 12 hours, normally on the time we post those videos. And I'll be aiming to post at least 1 Path of Exile video a day, and this will be including guides, tips, news update, and also the latest tricks that is discovered on both the English and also Chinese community to keep you guys updated. And if you like those videos, make sure you leave a nice comment and also leave a like for those videos. Now, before we finish, if you guys haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so because I'll be looking into the latest Path of Exile 2 news on different communities and also on our official forum, official webpage. I'll also be looking into the best build for each of the class as the meta develops with the Chinese and also the English community. So stay tuned for the latest update and also guides for Path of Exile 2. And of course, this is gonna be a big month for us. And I'll try to bring you guys all of the latest content and also guides for Path of Exile 2 to come.